Guys, it's Jess from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with some new adult recommendations for you. I myself have not been reading a lot of new adult. I was going through the books I've read this year, and I think I've maybe read like 5 this year total, and that's it. But I used to love this genre, and that's because I used to be this age. And now I feel like I've kind of outgrown it. I'm 26 now, so the whole like I'm 21, 22, trying to figure out my life, going to college, meeting boys is like not something I relate to right now, and they seem more immature to me now that I'm older. But I used to love new adult and I read it all the time, and that is in the college age where, like I said, you're just trying to figure out who you are. Relationships are difficult and you're just like trying to find out what you want to do, who you want to be with, who you want to be. And so this was inspired by the one book I just finished reading like 20 minutes ago, and that is The Guy on the Right by Kate Stewart. And now there's gonna be a book 2, which I'm very excited about, and this one's about the guy who is always like, oh no, I'm the guy on the right in the picture. And so it starts out like he's on a dating app and this girl thinks he's the hot guy in the middle, and he's like, no, that's my best friend, I'm the other guy. And so he's always been looked over, and he got out of a terrible relationship, and he meets this girl at the very beginning and they become friends. And so half this book he's being friend zoned, and he doesn't know if he wants to do something about it or not. They're in college. I think he's a junior, she's a senior, and it's just so adorable. I love this book so much. I ended up giving it 4 to 5 stars because the conflict at the end had to do with some miscommunication, and I am like annoyed with that being used as a plot device now, but that's my own personal problem. It was really, really adorable at the end, and I think Theo is just like the perfect good boy book boyfriend. So if you really like a sweet, honest, adorable guy as a love interest, you're gonna love this. This was so relatable. I loved how it was friends to lovers, and it takes place in college, so it's definitely new adult. I would recommend this book. Kind of going to the opposite kind of guy, The Perfect Verse by Maya Hughes is, our guy is a football player, huge stud, and this girl is in college and she's about to be a senior, and she's always been like sheltered by her parents, and they're gonna make her go to this certain school. I don't know if she's a senior. They're gonna make her go to a different school. I don't know if it's for law school, I forget, but she's always controlled by them, so she's decided to do a ton of things before she has to leave, before the end of the semester. And so she is interviewing guys to check off one thing on her list at a cafe. He thinks she's someone else there to interview him for something, and so he sits down, they start talking, realize they're totally not there for what each other thought they were there for, and then he's kind of intrigued, and so it starts their relationship. So good, but he's definitely like the hotshot playboy. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really cute. It reminded me so much of the Off-Campus series, but with football. Really great new adult romance. Speaking of the Off-Campus series, that's one of my favorite new adult series, but for this video I have the Brenna Youth series, which is a spin-off and has to do with the girls as our main characters, and the Off-Campus series is always the guys you knew, and they were all teammates. In here, we know all the girls, though Fitz is in this one, and he is a character that is in the background of the Off-Campus series. And in this one, we have Brenna. She is actually the coach's daughter, and she has a relationship with someone from their rival team, the captain of a rival team. And then in this one, she is, who is a Dean's sister, and Dean is a character from the Off-Campus series, and she has to live with a bunch of hockey players. So these are such good romances. I love the banter, and this one Fitz is just your typical good boy. This one is kind of enemies to lovers and forbidden. They're so good. If you really want your college hockey romance, sports romance, new adult, you would love these 2 books. I love them. You don't have to read the Off-Campus series to read these 2, but I would definitely recommend it. And book 2 I loved even more than book 1, and I can't wait for book 3. It's coming out, I think, in October or November. It's coming out soon, so I'm excited for that. The next one you've probably heard of if you're at all in the romance book scene, and that is Broken Night by L.J. Shen. Pretty Reckless is book 1, and that takes place in high school, but it's definitely a new adult book. This one, our main character Knight is a senior in high school, but Luna, the love interest, is experiencing her freshman year of college, and we got a lot of what she's going through, and she is a selective mute, and so she has her therapist give her specific goals to achieve, and so like she has to go to a party, and she has to go out with friends and go go out with her roommate and try to interact with people, even though she doesn't talk to anybody and her roommate does know sign language, and that's why she was roomed with her. And so she does go somewhere far away for college, and she's still dealing with her relationship with Knight, and they are best friends since they were children. Knight's always really liked her, and Luna has always pushed him away and friend-zoned him, and it's a very emotional romance. This was so good until like 80% of the way through. It was a 5-star read for me, and then the ending ended up being a 4-star read for me. Very emotional. It turned out to be more than just about the romance, but I really enjoyed this, and I liked it so much more than book one. Book one, our main character made some choices. I had no clue why she made them because they logically did not make sense why she would do those choices, but this is still a really addicting series that I liked, and if you love new adult, I think you're gonna love this series, specifically book 2. The next book I have is new adult age, but it's not in college. I think it's the only one on this list that's not in college, and that is Making Faces by Amy Harmon. This one is so much more serious because our main characters have gone through so much in the short amount of time they've been alive. I mean, they're like literally early 20s. I don't even know if they're 20 yet. They might be like 19, and our main character, she has never been like the pretty one, and she's just like your average girl, and she's always had a crush on the big man in town. He's like the pretty golden boy. Him and his friends end up going into the military after high school. He kind of convinced them all to join him. They all end up dying, and he gets severely wounded and scarred on his face, and so he's back and he feels so guilty because it was his idea for all of them to join the military, and he's the only one who came back. And so they kind of form a friendship at first, and then kind of turns into something more, and it's so emotional. I cried so hard in this book, and there's just something about a damaged hero who's just kind of really cold and hard on the outside, but is willing to let the girl in and show his softer side too. So good. Not taking place in college though. I couldn't even remember if either of them are in college, but they're both working near each other, and so they're at that new adult age though, and it's definitely so much more serious, but so good and will tug at your heartstrings. And the last book I have to share with you is Top Secret by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen. This one is an MM romance, takes place in college. I believe they're seniors in college, and our main character, he has been dating his girlfriend for quite a long time. I feel like it's like 4 years or something, and for her birthday she asks for him to spice things up in their relationship, and so he goes on an app to find someone to help them do that and starts talking to this guy and kind of likes their conversation and their banter, and feels weird about it because he's like, but this is for my girlfriend, but it's starting to feel like it's for me. And then turns out that the guy he's talking to on this app is actually the guy who lives right next door to him at the frat house, who is his arch nemesis. And so it's enemies to lovers. He has to start wondering, like, do I actually like guys? Because he's never thought that way before. The other guy has always known that he's liked guys, and so it's such a good romance. It's so good because they're like totally denying it because they hate each other and they're enemies in their frat house, but they have to live. And like when they're thinking about that, they're like, well, what are all the other guys gonna think about, because it's a bunch of frat guys and stereotypically they're not as accepting. So they need to think about that too, and it's really good. And I really liked it, and I love Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen, so this was a great one. And those are some new adult recommendations I have for you. Let me know down below some recent new adult books you've loved and that I should read. I would love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.